Dan RadioStyle, hope everybody out there's doing great. Not sure what I'm calling this. Something to do with manifesting and getting people's approval to create the reality you would like, even though they have free will. So I've talked about free will a lot, and I think it's really important. But it's also made me kind of realize that putting a little bit of a negative spin, or at least a perception or understanding. And this video, one, is going to help explain how this mechanism works and why their free will happily choose you when you manifest. So that's a big giveaway, right? But the other part of it is the mechanics of it, and this probably will even answer some of those doubt questions for those of us that wonder why it's not happened all right now, right? If I can see it and it's real, then why isn't it here right now? And it's that concept of how creation happens. So let me take a step backwards, if I may. Now, I learned a long time ago, well, actually after the effect, after using the technique when I was younger, and I'll get to that in a second, but I want to take a step ahead of that first and talk about when I kind of learned about how manifesting works. And it really wasn't law of attraction where I first got into it. It was through the visualization, and that's really by seeing it in your mind, you create a higher dimensional version of that object. And as you kind of hold that vision and hold that understanding that that object, now that you can see it, is real, it begins to solidify, for lack of a better way to put it. It becomes more dense and eventually ends up in this density, or in the 3D space, or actual physicality is another way to look at it. When you see it in your mind, it is just as real as it is a physical object. It's just, to become a physical object, it needs to become extremely dense. The atoms really need to slow down, when in reality, up in the higher dimensions, they very, very quickly, things are, I'm assuming that's part of it. It's really, everything's multidimensional, and there's different directions and a whole nine yards, right? So very hard for us three-dimensional people to perceive it. We can kind of perceive a four-dimensional object, but getting up into 5 and 6 and 7, wow, it starts getting crazy. It was one of the harder parts of, honestly, calculus, I got to say. And for those of you that are way smarter than me, here, I'll go ahead and label some of how not smart I was. It was the third semester of calculus. I couldn't pass it. The multidimensional vectoring and all that stuff was just, I was having a hard time with it. And I mean, I was working. I could make excuses, but whatever the case was, I had a hard time with that class. That was kind of where I had to cut short my math fun. But yeah, anyway. So where this came into play when I was younger, and it was my dad. And my dad doesn't think any of this stuff. I mean, he actually checks out some of my videos from time to time, which is pretty cool. But for the most part, my dad doesn't really get into any of this law of attraction stuff. I mean, he thinks positive thinking will get you somewhere for sure. And, a lot of these concepts, he's not against the concept, but the idea of law of attraction is like absurd. Yet, who did I learn from him, oddly? It was in baseball, was the big place. So baseball, his big thing before my games on weekends was to imagine getting base hits. Imagine seeing the ball hit the bat, imagine it. You'd see it crack, boom. And he'd just have me do that before the games, and I would do very well. I had an extremely good batting average when I was younger, when I would play baseball. I was a very good baseball player. Didn't like it as much as soccer, so when I got into high school, I stopped playing baseball. But I loved baseball when I was younger, and I was very, very good at it. It was fun. And what I realized when I was doing this is, one, just for whatever reason in my head, I'm like, oh, it just seems to make it click better. Maybe it's just that fact that it gets your mind, your hand-eye, your mind kind of used to that reality that you're about to experience. I don't know. That was kind of when I was in high school. That was the thinking that I was having was, actually, it wasn't even high school. It was before high school. Phew, it was junior high. Good Lord. So that being said, he would help me see it and visualize it in my mind. I was just like, well, this is helping, the hand-eye combination. I was in martial arts at the time too, so there was just a lot of that visualization concept, meditation. I was learning that then in martial arts, right? It was just all these really cool things were happening in my life. But what I realized is that this created an actual outcome where I succeeded, where I got more hits. My average was, I don't know, in the 400 range, which for baseball is really damn good. I mean, I wasn't like a 500 hitter or anything crazy like that. Let's not be crazy. But I had over a 400 average for the most part. And I would get on. I was one of the lead hitters. I'd almost always get on base. I loved it. Pretty fast, too. So when I did it, I didn't think that got me the hit. I didn't think that was the reality of the hit. I didn't think I was getting a base hit immediately. I realized what I was seeing was something that was going to happen. Kind of future telling almost. So I'd do it, I'd practice, I'd get better, and I got base hits. So where my connection kind of comes back, one, The clarity of your image matters for those of you that have a hard time doing it. I can't imagine I have a hard time seeing things in my head. I know some of you have a challenge doing that. Practice it. Get something small object, maybe an apple. Practice looking at an apple for a period of time and then literally try to draw it. I suck at drawing. But it is a great way because then when you close your eyes and try to see the apple and try to draw the shape, you find yourself getting better and better at it. And what I find is when we think we're not good at something and don't ever do that something because we think we're not good at it, we are definitely never going to get any better at it by not doing it. So whether you're good at it or not good at it, whether you can be awesome at it or you'll never be anything better than suck, you'll never know unless you try it multiple times. So work on it. But the more you can see it in your head, the clearer that image is, the more real that object is, the closer to your now it is becoming. Now, again, you can question that and do all sorts of things that are like, slowing you down, dragging the, pumping the brake, right? Don't want to do that. You got to understand that I'm seeing this object. I'm creating this object. And that is what attracts well, it's not even, it attracts. It's like that reality exists. And it becomes more and more real. Me and it merges. It becomes part of my space-time for that matter. Because wherever you walk around, it's your own little universe. It really is. It's your universe, 100% of the time. You could share it with people and all that, but ultimately we spend a lot of time alone, don't we? And in those times alone, some of us not enough, in those times alone, we realize I'm still here though. It's still me. I'm still whatever, right? I don't know what other people are experiencing right now, even in my little environment, right? But you're all out there doing something right now while I'm recording this. So I'm trying to explain that the whole concept of seeing and how it kind of melds into reality, it's just how it works. It's the concept of creation. I didn't see it as attracting per se. I really didn't, and I still really don't. I mean, I get it, and I like it. It's kind of a cool little way to look at it, but I still don't really see creation as attraction. I understand I am attracting these things to me, and I understand I might be attracting people to me, but ultimately I am creating a reality because I am the one that paints my canvas. I am the one that paints the world. So it's my reality to create. It's not attracting a reality to me, but it is. Again, I'm not fighting. It's just a different way in my mind of looking at it. So how do we get this to meet and match into the whole free will of someone else, right? And how I could be potentially trying to manifest somebody that's never going to say yes. Okay, and this is where I feel like I've failed many of you, so I apologize. And I still feel what I said was true, but I feel like I failed to bring up this side of it, which I think is very valuable. Because free will does come into play. No matter what, they have free will. Yes, but what we are doing, and I kind of did some digging with Esther Hicks. I dig her a lot. I love her kind of thing. I mean, that whole Abraham Hicks and all that's going on. I just love it. I mean, I love the answers. I can't think of a better way. Neil Donald Walsh used to say the same thing. It's like, even if it wasn't God he was talking to, can you think of a better way to do it? And it's like, no, I really can't. So like that is an awesome answer to those questions, right? So same kind of thing. So spend a little time with this whole concept of free will, and I know it's not supposed to be a damper, but at the same time, it is a reality, right? So it's like, how do we deal with that? Because I'm sure, I know there's people that disagree with me. I'm sorry that you do. That's okay. I'm fine with the fact that we don't see eye to eye on this. I get there's people that think it's destiny. I believe there's people that think it's already predefined, and that's fine. I don't want to debate it, and I'm not going to. I don't share that view. I do believe there are events that we plan before we ever get here, and I think that's what deja vu really speaks to frequently. Whenever you've had one of those moments, you'll know what I'm talking about, but I think that's because it's a little more of one of those, like, we're destined to do certain things, yes, but we set it up so we go to these events and kind of walk through them, and we're curious to see how we'll handle it, how we'll behave, how we'll get through it. So I think that's where the free will comes into play. It's like, yeah, I was destined to show up at this event. I was maybe destined to date so-and-so, but what I did in that relationship, how I treated that person, the things I did on the ins and outs, the ways I tried to show my love, those are my choices. Those are me. That's 100%. So I think there's a little more of the free will aspect. So anyways, when we're manifesting a specific person, when we're working on, I don't know why that's always the hand gesture I do in manifesting for something, bringing into creation, heaven and earth. I don't know. That's why I always do it. It's just an accidental thing. I just noticed that I did it again. I'm like, I always do that. When we're manifesting someone, specific person, something like that along those lines into our life, what we're really doing is we're harmonizing with that reality where we're together. They may not be right now. They may be dating someone else right now. All these other things. This is kind of where you get into that multi-dimensional aspect, right? So current, right now, I'm not hitting a baseball. Current, right now, they're not dating you. Same thing. No difference, right? But what you're doing is you're getting in touch with the version of them, the part of them, the aspect of them that loves you, that wants to be with you, that wants to have a relationship with you. And you keep putting energy on that reality. And it puts power towards that reality. Now, we can get into whether or not multi-life paths happen, multi-dimension, multi-realities. There's a whole slew of things. So maybe it doesn't matter, right? They can maybe stay dated there, but then there's this other reality where they break up and he chooses to be, right? So that's the reality that we are looking at. Whatever's happening right now is irrelevant. Doesn't matter. I'm not playing baseball right now, so I don't care about getting a base hit, but I'm going to imagine doing it. I imagine doing it because I know it's going to help me get my base hit. Same thing goes with imagining that aspect of the person that you want to be with. So all the things that you think are holding you back, they don't exist there. Obviously, they don't exist there because you're together. You've obviously managed to get past that. So whatever these things are, that doesn't matter. A lot of people are like, yeah, but something's right now. I don't give a crap. I'm not playing baseball right now. I can't get a base hit right now if I wanted to. It doesn't freaking matter what you want. You're creating this reality. You're creating it. So whatever your right now is, doesn't matter. It's going away. It's going to change. It has to change. Even if you don't make this happen, your right now is not going to continue forever. It will change. So that's what we're trying to do, is harmonize with that aspect of that individual. And when we are more harmonized with that, there becomes this energy, this thing, this existence that are a connection of both of you. You've created it. I think thought transmissions kind of come into play, but there's a weird kind of magic almost that goes on when you do this. You create a reality. Their higher self, for sure, their soul, if you will, on a multi-dimensional way is like, yeah, no, I'm there with you. Yeah, let's do that. That'd be cool. I love you anyway. Like, we've got friends that, span all sorts of places, but you're someone specific that I want to be with. And you're probably a lot more of a soul family when you've got that sort of attraction to someone. So it just makes sense. So you're putting energy towards it. They're putting energy towards it. Maybe not consciously. It doesn't matter. And this thing has power and energy of its own. Now, what it starts to do is attract both of you to it. It's a reality that you're attracting you and them to. Whether they know it or not, it does not matter. That's what's so awesome about it. Yes, they have free will. Doesn't matter, though. You're harmonizing with the part of them that chooses you, not the part of them that currently is not choosing you. You harmonize with the part of them that has chosen you, that has forgiven you, that gave everything back, that realized what a horrible person they were. Whatever the situation was that maybe led to this. Maybe it's someone very specific that you've just not had the courage to talk to. Well, maybe that's finally going to happen, right? Because that'll be the big case. Like, I hear it a lot, and it's just because, like, for 3 weeks, it was the longest 3 weeks of my life, sold perfume door to door, like the fake, the ones that were fake, but it smells just like the same thing, right? You've probably had those people approach you maybe at some point in your life or one of the similar scenarios. So me talking to a stranger is not something that scares me. I had to do it. I had to get over that fear. Like, if I wanted to eat dinner that night, I needed to at least sell enough bottles of perfume to make a couple bucks so I could buy dinner and put some gas in the car. So for me, it's not that big a deal to talk to someone. I know this is like freakiest thing in the world. So again, sometimes if that's what needs to happen for your reality to occur, and it's so scary, I can't do it. Yes, you can, first off. Second off, you can't ever get better at anything if you don't do it, right? We talked about that. And third, it has to happen because this reality is going to occur. Not maybe you talking first, but maybe it is. You know what? You got to be open to possibilities. Inspired action can only come when you're finally open to whatever it is that creates that reality. Whatever it is. And it might mean you got to crawl out of your little scary shell and do something you don't want to do, because that's the only way you're going to put out the right kind of energy to kind of create this, to embrace this reality, to become part of this reality. A lot of times there's steps that require us to grow. Super common. So we're harmonizing with that part of them. And we hold a very powerful energy, gets held and created when we hold that vision. I don't mean we're always doing it every second of the day, but anytime the thought comes up about what's my tomorrow going to be, that is tomorrow. Well, I'll be with them, and then I'll probably be working at a different company, I assume, because for this relationship to really go forward, I need to make more money, right? It gets you thinking in that direction. Doesn't matter if it's just being with them, but what's being with them? What's all the things that goes with being with them? That's when it becomes your now. That's when it is real in your mind. You're like, well, it may not be right now, but I know it's going to be. So, all right, my 6 months from now, they're there, a new job, probably a different car. I'd probably move. I don't really like this neighborhood. I love where I live. I'm just saying, right? Like the numbers of thoughts that you start to have when you realize that's your reality. I don't think a lot of us do that. A lot of us are like, I'm trying to create this. And it's like, well, if you already have it, what does that mean? What is your life like? Well, I don't know. I can't even imagine being on a first date with him. It's like, well, then you're not really imagining you guys together. That's where you got to, assume whatever it is that you're trying to create is created, because it is, you can see it and all that stuff. Then what? Then what? Because there's probably a lot of things that go along with this creation. Okay, so we got all this going on. We're creating this very powerful thing, which starts to create a very attractive kind of feeling to both you and them. It's almost like a proxy, if you will, for the two of you. It's like a black hole that's going to start sucking you guys in. So, well, it's really kind of, you end up together. It doesn't matter. Black hole's kind of that's not a real positive image, but that love is going to totally radiate and attract towards each other. It's going to become something where even if they barely know you, you're going to start looking oddly attractive to them. Why? Because this powerful thing exists that's full of love, full of attraction, full of all these wonderful experiences and feelings. And like this whole thing is just like, right? It's delicious. That is what creates that reality. It makes it happen. Me going and hitting the ball, I envisioned it. It didn't necessarily create that. I mean, the opportunity was going to be there, but it certainly enhanced it. It certainly made me better. It certainly created an outcome that was easier for my success, to give me the thing that I am trying to create. So yes, I've said it before, and I've probably misled to some degrees. I mean, again, it's true. They have free will. We all have free will. We go through life and make our own choices. The part of them that we're creating and connecting with is the part of them that chooses us. Now, there's still that self-love. Just keep that in mind. If they don't choose you in the current situation, then you shouldn't be giving them a bunch. I know some people that are maybe, well, we're friends with benefits, but I want it to be more. And it's like, well, you kind of can't, because you're already sort of breaking the rules, right? Like if you want that relationship, but he's getting it easily and elsewhere as well, maybe, right? Then where's the self-love? Because you deserve more than that. And it's the same thing with if this person's not maybe behaving or not maybe being nice. You can keep imagining that reality, but I would be like, yeah, I'm not talking to you right now, and I'm not really going to text you even right now because I'm creating something better for both of us, and our right now sucks. So here's what it's going to be, and I'm going to keep working on this awesome thing, and I'm not going to accept this lesser behavior, lesser kindness, I don't know, lesser stuff. I'm not going to accept it. So remember, it's that reality we're going for. One of the frustrating things that you hear all the time is, but my right now sucks. I know. You wouldn't be manifesting if your right now was awesome, right? Well, you probably would, maybe still, but you're obviously not happy with where your right now is. That's why you're asking questions. Duh. So don't worry about your right now. Right now doesn't matter. Right now means nothing to me. Right now tells me what you've been doing and thinking for the past couple days. So when people come and say, well, I'm doing this and this is what's happening to me, it's like, yeah, you say you're doing stuff, but I don't think that's really the truth. And you really got to spend some time talking with someone to kind of see or let them reveal their real feelings, because every once in a while we don't pay attention to the fact that something pops out of our face and we're like, whoa, I didn't realize I felt that way. Yeah. So it's all helpful. But I'm all over the place. I think it's good stuff either way, but it's that reality. That reality. It's real. Reality. It's real. Go to it. Be heading in that direction. Settle for nothing less. Understand that is what I'm creating. Doesn't matter what the frick they think. That is what you're creating. You're getting together with the part of them that is game. It's ready to go. I hope this helps. Stay on Radio Style. Love you guys. Talk soon. Thanks. Bye.